Kakajimo wacho, wan gi nyadhi. Nikech wan ok wachiem ka ng'ato. Ok kamano. Wan ok wachiem ka ng'ato. Kendo ng'ata maparo ni sani koro siasa mar baba oduogo piny. En ng'ama leko. Ok kamano. One solidly behind Baba. Kamonyiso wan wachome temo wadhiye. Konyiso wan left, right, about turn. Nyasaye madgwedhi urukamana ahinya.
Erokamano intellectual kora duoko microphone ni Master of Ceremonies Osiepwa Rafael Tuju. Erokamano.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On behalf of the family once again, I take this moment to invite CS Owalo to come and read the message of condolence from His Excellency President William Ruto. Thank you very much, CS, for coming, and we appreciate your presence here. And by the same token, I know there's going to be a vote of thanks, but we want to acknowledge the assistance that we have received from the government of Kenya. We also want to acknowledge the assistance that we received from the Prime Minister, and we want to acknowledge the assistance and kind support also we received from His Excellency, the fourth President, and all the support that we have received from current cabinet secretaries and former cabinet secretaries. Thank you, sir.
The Magoha family, led by Dr. Barbara and ably assisted by Dr. Michael, the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Mama Aida, the church, members of parliament present, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Indeed, I've known this family for close to 30 years. When I was doing my A-level studies at St. Mary's Yala here, where I was also a head student, I came to know the late Justice Masime. And by extension in the process, I also came to know the Magoha family. Mzee John Obare, who was speaking here, was a very close friend to a distinguished son of game by the name S.M. Owino Gere, who was then one of the most accomplished lawyers in this country. I did get to know Owino Gere through Mr. Obare, and when I went to Nairobi for the first time in the year 1990, the person I was living with is the late Owino Gere. So I can say or state without fear of contradiction that I owe the people of Game, and by extension the Magoha family, a great debt of gratitude. Indeed, when reports circulated in the social media that Professor Magoha had passed on, and I was alerted by one of my staff in the office, I thought it was in reference to the brother. But those reports persisted. So I did call Dr. Aloch, who actually confirmed to me that Professor Magoha had passed on about 5 minutes before then. Subsequently, I sent a text message to President William Ruto, who was out of the country, to alert him of Professor Magoha's death. And indeed, he called me back within a couple of minutes to confirm whether it was true that Professor Magoha had actually passed on, because it was barely 2 weeks when we were with him at State House. So I confirmed the same to him, and he told me, or he instructed me, to reach out to the Deputy President on his behalf to get further guidance as to how the current government and by extension cabinet could respond to that sad state of affairs. I was instructed by the Deputy President then to reach out to the family so that we could collectively become part and parcel of the preparations of that sad journey. So when I went to the family residence in Lavington, I had consultations with Dr. Barbara and son Michael and the Member of Parliament, Elisha, and they did actually make certain requests to the government, which I relayed back, and I'm happy to report that all that the Magoha asked for at that point in time by way of logistical support from the government of the Republic of Kenya indeed acceded to and went ahead to execute with precision. Two, I convey my personal condolences to the family. We have lost a great scholar. We have lost a renowned medic. We have lost an astute professional. This is not just a loss to the people of Game, but to the entire country and by extension, the global medical fraternity. Because Professor Magoha has achieved almost all that a human being can achieve in life, I would say that what we need to do today is to join the family in celebrating his life. May I now, ladies and gentlemen, with permission from the congregation, take the distinguished honor and privilege to read the message of condolences from Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. And I proceed. Message of condolence by His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, to the family of the late Professor George Omore Magoha. To Dr. Barbara Magoha, your son Dr. Michael Magoha, the extended Magoha family, and to the entire community of Umira village and Nyamninia, to the wider Nyanza family, and to the people of Kenya who are touched at a personal level by the reason we are here today. I received the sad news of the sudden passing on of Professor George Albert Omore Magoha on 24th January 2023 with total surprise and disbelief. I wanted to believe that it was fake news in the post-truth times that we live in today. I tried to wish it away as a bad dream, but it was neither fake news nor a passing bad dream. We are all therefore slowly coming to terms with the harsh reality. The cruel hand of death has plucked from our midst one of our finest. We have lost an amazing person whom we have variously known as a colleague, a friend, a relative, a role model, and a mentor. Accordingly, we join the Magoha family here today for the final send-off. We have come here to bid farewell to a fallen national hero. Our departed friend has been the kingpin of this family and an icon for the rest of us. It is most difficult season for the family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, and I join myself with the Magoha family in your mourning. Poleni sana. I have had the privilege to know Professor Magoha from very close. Among other things, I served with him in the last cabinet. He was also the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi when I was the Minister for Higher Education. And our paths have also met in many other edifying places and ways. In all these, he leaves me with fond memories. I have known Professor Magoha as a most fascinating patriot who loved his country and enjoyed serving it. Professor Magoha loved doing his work. He had no half measures. He put his whole heart and his whole being into everything that he did. And he believed in whatever he did. If he did not believe in it, he did not even begin doing it, ladies and gentlemen. The patriot occupied large space everywhere he went. Those who got to know him well will remember him as the one man who believed in the possibility of a perfect universe. But Professor Magoha did not just believe that a perfect universe was possible. He spent his entire life and energy working towards the realization of this perfect universe. He will be remembered as a spirited go-getter. This focused gentleman did his utmost to rally teams around beliefs and causes. He set out to lead them to achieve the goals, and in the process, Professor Magoha turned out to be an astute administrator and institutional leader. He was an outstanding surgeon and a professional role model. As a scholar, he researched and published widely. He was faithful to the academic credo of his times, publish or perish. As a visionary scholar and leader, his towering dreams have been immortalized in his numerous research papers and in the iconic Varsity Towers at the University of Nairobi, which he believed was the only university in Kenya. He dedicated 12 duty as cabinet secretary, saw him set out to keep our children in school. He roamed in the villages in the countryside, looking for dropout children and returning them to the classroom. He visited individual homes in the slums and informal settlements to find out why children were not in school. He was at his happiest whenever he tracked down one child and returned them to school. Professor Magoha loved order, industry, and results. Once his eyes were fixed on the final prize, nothing could sway or discourage him. He was especially impatient with laziness and irresponsibility. He could not entertain mediocrity. He would speak plainly when taking to task the lazy and the irresponsible. He especially had no time for avoidable slowness of mind. He did not hesitate to call out the culprit in plain language. I will always remember Professor Magoha as a thought leader, an energetic worker, a frank man who did not know how to mince his words. I will recall him as a compassionate colleague who stood with those around him in difficult times, and as a conciliator who believed in dialogue as the best intervention in cases of conflict. I will remember his focus, great sense of humor, and his attention to sense of occasion too. Such is the kind of person we have come to pay our last respects to, fellow Kenyans. A man who grew to be bigger than the family space could hold, nor could this village hold. Nyanza could not hold him, game could not hold him, and indeed Kenya could not hold him, and Kenya didn't. Magoha was a citizen of Africa and the entire world. He now belongs to the ages and rests with the sages. We who believe in resurrection and eternity know that he has moved on to everlasting consciousness. We therefore thank God for his life and for the promise of the life to come in the foreseeable future. We thank God for giving to us Professor Magoha and for the privilege of having been a part of this universe in this life. We certainly look forward to meeting him again in resurrection. Meanwhile, Dr. Barbara and the entire Magoha family, I say once again, poleni sana. May God wipe away your tears and sorrow. May he cause you to smile and laugh again. And may Professor George Albert Omore Magoha soul find perfect rest and peace in eternity. Amen. Dated this 11th day of February, the year 2023, William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Waziri Owalo, Eliud Owalo. Thank you. In our program now, we're almost coming to an end. It's my privilege and honor to invite President Uhuru will not believe this. I'll invite my uncle, Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Thank you. Thank you. This is not good. Hello? No, not bad. Mama Barbara Magoha, my brother President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the clergy, fellow monarchs, hamjambo. We've come to pay tribute and farewell to a great Kenyan. And I want to say without fear of contradiction that right inside that coffin lies a great man. We've come because of the tragedy that has befallen us. Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar that cowards die many times before their death, but the brave do not taste of death but once. So let it be with George. A lot has already been said about George, and I want to basically confirm that everything that has been said about George is true. I came to know George when he was still a young man, because his elder brother was spoken here, John Obaretula Udalonyo More Wimokmede Moro. These are the people who received me when I came back from Europe, in Nairobi. John, his other late cousin Rangela Odundo, Michael Kinyanyi, Javan Chavanga, Okachurmon Bondo. Those are the people who received me in Nairobi and showed me the way of Nairobi. They're the ones who took me to the Ngong races, Kupiga Farasi. And it is through that relationship that I got to know Professor. He was then a student at the Strathmore College, and a very diligent student, as you can see from his record. He excelled academically, but he was a very, very humble person. Humility was his way of life. He recognized everybody. Some people say that Magoha was arrogant. I say no. Magoha was just a straight-talking person. And if people don't like sometimes to hear the truth, it will say it the way he's saying it. You love it or not, but you say it. And he has excelled, as you have seen, wherever he's been, wherever he has gone to. That's why when